Hi, friend.
Hi, friend. Are you ready
Ready for what?
to level up?
Okay, girl, let's get started.
Everyone, welcome to another episode of Level Up with Raman and Alysha.
Yes, everyone, thanks for tuning into our episode today. We're going to be talking about some, Jalous stuff that happened in Brampton.
He wasn't going to expose Brampton, but I said just do it.
Yeah, it already has such a bad rep, but I guess like we might as well. But all jokes aside, it was a serious matter, and it's something that like has been happening. I feel like a lot recently too. A lot of incidents have been coming up, whether it be in universities or anything like that. There's so many documentaries on it, and I'm sure all of us as women out there can say they felt this way or gone through this at any point in their life, whether walking to your car, in a dark parking lot, walking through a park by yourself, walking anywhere. We have felt this way. So basically, what happened is a young woman got attacked in broad daylight on a trail in Brampton. Here, there's a park called Massey Park. It's got a lot of trees, but it's got a trail. It's a designated trail to walk through, and there's homes around it. So she goes there every day at like 10 a.m., 11 a.m. for her walk or run. And all of a sudden, she sees this individual, and he's walking his bike, which is odd. Who walks their bike? Like really? So he's walking his bike. He's wearing all black. He's wearing a jacket, and right away she was like, okay, this looks kind of sketchy. And then she turned around and caught him off guard because he wasn't expecting her to turn around and face his direction now. And she started walking, and he started to walk towards her because she was holding, I guess, a tripod or camera. He was like, "What's your YouTube?" And she's like, "I don't disclose my information to strangers." And then he looked at her, looked around, and she's like, he had crazy eyes. And it looked like he was going to attack her. Like he started to move forward, and she basically punched him in the, like, I think throat first. And then he tried to like go and reach for her throat, and then she punched him in the face and was able to push him down. And then she's like, her voice was able to kick in, and she realized like to start yelling, so she started screaming for help. And then she kicked him one more time when he was on the floor into his ribs and started running. So she started running, screaming for help, recording it, saying like, someone's trying to attack me. And yeah, it was
Major
really
stranger danger there.
hardcore major stranger danger. Like it's so I wouldn't even have been able to fight back, Roman. Like I don't
And
even
that's
know if that would be my first thought.
that's what I was saying to you. I'm like, fortunate for her, like, her first instinct was like, let me punch this guy in the face and punch him hard to make an impact. Like I was telling you, like I'd be scared. I think I would just run because I'd be like, fuck, this guy's gonna punch me in the face and he's gonna punch me way harder. And I've seen all those videos where you just one punch knock out and then that's a kidnap.
Exactly. My husband has always tried to teach me since the day I met him how to defend for myself. And I'm not gonna lie, I actually don't pay attention. I don't know how many times Ahmed has come up behind me to teach me, like, this is what you would do. Someone grabs you from here, grabs you like this, or is trying to attack you. Guys, I always am like, I'm not gonna do this because like I just don't think it's not gonna happen. You just don't think. And that's what she said in the video, and that fucking triggered me. She's like, I was one of those girls who thought this would never happen to me.
Yeah.
I
And
say
I think
that all
every
the time.
girl like feels like, it won't happen to them, but this happens to women.
It does. So I need to fucking start paying attention to my husband again. I'm
Do
gonna
you
be like,
remember
okay,
that one time we went to cottage and Amit was teaching all the girls self-defense?
yeah. He's a huge person on that because he was in Toronto, right? Like he was
Yeah.
security in like the police world and whatever. So being in Toronto, he saw a lot of fucked up shit. And he said the biggest thing is that women do not know how to defend themselves.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that we need to learn this, but it's better to be like prepared than not be.
Yeah. I think, and like when we think about like our kids, I always say it myself too, like, oh, I need to make sure my daughter goes to kickboxing. She knows how to defend herself and she can like beat somebody up. But then we're like, oh, hello, like we're gonna get beat up ourselves. Like, what about us? Because we're out there in the world every day. And the sad truth is that, this happens amongst women, not not really men. So there was a time when I was at Tim's house and his friend was over, and his friend, it was like at 10 p.m. and he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to go work out at the park," because this is when gyms were closed, right?
Yeah.
And Tim's mom is like, "At the park? It's like 10 p.m." And he's like, "Yeah, like, so what?" Right? And it was like no big deal. And like seeing it from a man's perspective, it was like, but I knew that what me and her were thinking about is like a woman would never go to the park at 10 p.m. and work out. Like, that is just a recipe for like, you're
Disaster.
thinking about so many things. Like, I could get kidnapped, I could get assaulted, I could die. Like, basically,
Yeah.
like, just as a woman, you just wouldn't even think about doing something like that.
No, and it's absolutely true. Like, I don't know, there's been countless times that even if I'm with Rocky and I go for a walk in the neighborhood at nighttime, I'm a little fearful. Like, I do
Because your
sometimes.
dog is not going to save your life.
No, man, my dog is too tiny. He would bark the shit and bite you, but I don't know how much he can do. He's pretty strong, but I don't think he would abandon me, but he's so tiny. It would take
Yeah,
one kick from some asshole to hurt my puppy, you know? And
exactly.
instead of me running away, I'd definitely save him. Like, I'm an idiot. So, but yeah, like you just, I don't know how many times even I can't even tell you that I've like gotten into my car and checked my back seat till this day,
Yes,
you know?
yes.
And
So I don't know if you've seen those TikToks that are like, tell me you're a girl without telling
yeah.
me you're a girl. And it's like a girl getting in a car and she like literally checks her back seat. And it's like, it's a thing. It's like, because men don't have to do that.
Well, the one I've seen on TikTok is tell me you're a girl without telling me you're a girl is basically under the car.
Oh, yeah. Under the car, too. Under the car in the
Yeah.
back seat. Yeah.
I and they always say only open your like your driver's seat, right? Because someone can get in from
Yeah.
the other seat. So I know cars nowadays, like mine does, and the newer cars, they do where you just unlock once and it only opens the driver's seat.
That's
So
smart.
that's
But that
yeah,
is true because I did see a video once and it was like about at a gas station. And it was also like while you're filling up gas, somebody can come from the other side because your doors are unlocked and
yeah,
just like sneak into your car. So that one really tripped me out. So now I make sure all my car doors are like locked when I fill
yeah.
up gas.
Or even when you
Um,
just stop at a red light, you
yeah,
never know.
yeah.
Um, I there's this thing, and I'm sure you've seen it on TikTok too. A lot of people are creating these gadgets for women to put on their keychains. So
Hmm.
in Canada, I don't know if anyone knows, like out there in the US and stuff, that peppermint spray is actually illegal in Canada, so you can't carry peppermint spray. Um, but what you can carry is like these daggers and stuff. So like they have I don't know, they built like this, it's out of plastic and I guess through a 3D printer
I just
and
realized, sorry, did you say peppermint spray or did you mean pepper spray?
pepper spray.
Okay. I
I
don't
don't
know if
know.
you did say peppermint, but I
I
was gonna
probably
say,
said
isn't that a
peppermint.
little ridiculous that you can't have pepper spray, but you can have like a dagger?
It's stupid. It's silly and stupid because in the US they're allowed to have it. We can't. And it's like for our own protection. I don't know why it's illegal here. It's like the dumbest thing. So basically, you get this keychain you can order from Etsy and stuff, and it's got like a five things on it, and it's like to break a window if you ever need to, or like hit someone's throat or hurt someone. It's like all these little things that nobody would even realize on a keychain. That's what they do.
Mhm.
So like they're little gadgets, but they look cute and fun because they're in the shapes of a cat because the ears are really pointy and you can like knock someone's eyes out or knock someone out with it. So, I feel like and there's a whistle on there too, and there's like alarms. And I think that's the biggest thing is women, I think we get like we get unexpected like visitors, And it's like we
Unexpected visitors. Oh my God.
well, they are. Think about it. Like you're walking on the street. Think about young college students or university students walking back to dorm, after
Yeah.
studying so late and now they're hungry. Now they have to go and they're like, okay, I can walk home. It's fine. Nothing's going to happen to me. Well, in that moment, someone does try to attack you. The last thing you think about is screaming.
Yeah, because you're just in like panic mode.
Yeah. And our fight and what is it? Flight and fight or whatever.
Fight or flight. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't always kick in to yell, but it does give you the adrenaline rush to try to hurt or run, right?
Yeah.
But most likely 9 out of 10 times the guy's gonna be way bigger than you. And it,
Speaking of your, you mentioned like York and dorm room and stuff like that. Can I tell you my experience at York?
yeah,
Okay, so unlike other schools, York was like a community. Like it was, it was a large, it's for those of you who have never been to York University, it's just like a large piece of land and it like has its own roads and campuses and like schooling all together versus like downtown or other campuses that are split up. York is kind of very like all together and it feels like you're in a town. Like as soon as I would be on the property, that would feel like I'm in its own town. So York was known for assaults, like so many
yeah,
assaults. So every time there would be an assault, they would send out an email to everybody. So, like, I swear to God, Alicia, every once a week there was a communication about an assault. And it was like a woman was assaulted going back to her like dorm room, or a woman was assaulted going back to her car, blah, 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 blah. The way the premises is, it's like anybody can come on the premise of like York University. So it's not even necessarily people um that are like at the like part of the school that are doing these assaults. It's like we're near Jane and Finch area, so it's like there's a lot of sketchy area in that place. So I kid you not, I always used to say like, oh my God, I'm gonna die walking back to my car. Like that, I always used to say that. I used to be so sketched out. And because my car spots literally over the years started getting further and further and further, so I did have a little bit of a walk to do. And I would literally have to make sure I'm on the phone all the time and make it like really loud. Like I had to talk loud on the phone to make it known that I'm on the phone with somebody and they know where I am. And it
yeah,
would be so sketchy. And then on the last year, there was a parking spot that was really far and they actually like had a bus service. So after a certain period of time, like you didn't have to walk there. Like they didn't offer these bus services in the daytime, but at nighttime, and you could get like a security guard to like help you walk you to your car and stuff like that, because there were so many fucking incidences at York. I cannot express to you. Like it was literally known for assaults and it was
I
scary. And I
remember.
always used to be like, oh my God, I'm scared. Like I'm going to die at York.
Yo, I remember hearing so much about York, like
Yeah.
all the time. It was so bad. And
Yeah.
I've gone there a couple times because I used to go study with friends that used to go there. And I just couldn't believe like how big the place was. But yeah, there
Mhm.
was no security system in place like back then. Like UTM, you couldn't get into the building without like using your badge. Everyone
Really?
had to get, yeah, all the doors would remain locked.
Oh
Any
wow.
door or any building you needed to get into, you had to use your badge.
Yeah.
And they had that in place. Mind you, UTM was its own little land up in like Mississauga Road. And it wasn't that much creepier. We had a forest too. And I like I'm being very honest, it wasn't creepy at all. There was no feeling of creepiness just because like you'd have to go through security to park, first of all, because there was
Mhm.
only one big parking lot. And second of all, it was on Mississauga Road. So it was like a prominent area. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was a good area. So you really weren't that worried. That's one thing I have to say. But where I did start getting creeped out was when I went to Ryerson University and like I did like, my certificate program there for like management. And that's where like Amit legit, I'm not even joking you, would pick me up from Ryerson and I used to take the go to Kipling. So
Yeah.
no, I got to a point where Amit would just pick me up and drop me off to Kipling
Yeah,
because
because
it was getting
sketchy
pretty
area, especially at night, like
yeah.
imagine like finishing and when you're at school, like I don't know about you, but I used to have these 7 to 10 p.m. classes
Yeah,
and you finish at 10 o'clock and you're like, what the fuck? Now like
it's
I'm
so
scared
dark.
for my life.
Yeah, it was so fucking pitch dark. And like there were like I had like two incidents where I had creepy people behind me. And like it was just really weird. One time someone even like hit my arm in the subway. It was just so weird, as if to like purposely knock out my phone out of my hand. It was just such a weird like thing. And I was totally freaking out. After that, I used to live the complete opposite direction of Kipling. So he
Yeah.
literally would pick me up in Toronto, drop me off in Kipling, and then literally go all the way back to Ajax.
Oh my God. But don't you think it's so sad that us women have to like live this life in fear where
What?
men don't? And it's like, it sucks because you mentioned all these gadgets and stuff like that. And I have been seeing them on TikTok too. Like there's some that look like a lipstick or, like a perfume, but it's actually like something for safety. And it's just sad that us women even have to like fuck there's so much extra stuff that women have to purchase because we're women, and now that we have to purchase safe protection because we can't feel safe out in the world, it's just like, I mean, I don't think it's going to stop. I think this is how it's going to be, but I do think what can change is us women finding ways to defend ourselves, not just with these gadgets and stuff like that, but also like learning self-defense or like learning some moves and stuff like that. I know when they showed us in gym class when we were in grade 9, like self-defense for women, but you forget those things, right? You grow up and you think like, okay, well now I drive everywhere. I don't even walk, so I
You're
can be
naive.
safe. But those things are not necessarily keeping you safe. So I do think it's important that us women learn self-defense or at least something.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And I think it's also the problem with this generation, the upcoming one too, is that we're always on our fucking phones.
Yeah.
And, I know a lot of girls who are not aware of their surroundings. They're definitely
Yes.
not. And I probably wasn't to a certain degree because honestly, and like I have to give it to Amit. I don't know why Amit knows all this stuff, but like when I first met Amit too, he taught me to be aware of my surroundings. He's like, when you're in Toronto, I don't want you on your phone. I want you to walk. I want you to pay attention who's around you. And he
Yeah.
taught me to be that way. He's like, you have to be observant of other people's behavior on the road or on like, there's dumb drivers on the road. He's like, or you need to be observant of who's walking around you. And
100%.
I don't think I ever was Roman. Like before that, I was pretty naive. I would be on my phone, I'd be listening to
Yeah.
music. I'd be in La La Land, walking through like Toronto. Like I never really stopped to think, wait, like, shouldn't I be aware? And that's not to judge every male out there, but like, there are sketchy people. If someone's been
Mhm.
following you for a while, there's something up. If
Yeah.
someone is looking at you and paying attention to you, I think these are signs. Like, don't be just a paranoid fuck and just be like, oh, everyone's looking at me, they're all out to get me. No, but I think there was this thing that said like it's like 3 or 5 things off the checklist to know if a predator is coming towards you. This girl, in the one that was attacked in Brampton, she said he
Mhm.
was dressed to attack me. He had this planned. He knew it was her routine
Mhm.
and he was ready for her.
Yeah. You know
And
what? I think it's smart to switch up your routine.
it is smart to switch up your routine. I've seen, like, look at Ted Bundy documentary. It was
Yeah.
it's people who have the same routine that aren't really paying attention, but someone else is paying attention to you. And I
Mhm.
saw, what did I see? It was 2 stories. Okay, so there was this one thing on TikTok I saw. This lady was walking her baby, okay?
Yeah.
And the park was across the street from her house. So every day she'd walk around the park with her baby and then go home. One day, a guy approached her and he was watching her for a while.
Yeah.
And, he was asking her all these weird questions and like she just got really creeped out and she like saw other moms. So she was just like, "Oh, hey," just to pretend as if she knew them and walked towards them. He
Yeah.
just stuck around staring at her and then eventually she walked with one of the moms and didn't show him that she lived right in front of the like porch. But
Yeah.
he found out somehow because he was at her door ringing the door at 1 a.m. at night and her husband wasn't home.
Oh my
And
God, that is creepy.
it's he she could see him through the ring, like through her doorbell ring, like those
Oh
rings
my
that have
God.
the
Yeah,
video.
yeah, yeah.
And she called the cops and her husband immediately.
Yeah, that's honestly, you're absolutely right. You never know when somebody is following your everyday routine or watching you, or, somebody might know something more about you than you might even know.
Yeah.
Um,
The other
I,
thing, yeah,
Something, sorry, you just mentioned, I really want to highlight again is like walking with your head down towards your
right.
phone. So I'm also very like, I feel like I was the same as you. I was that person that I'd be like, oh, I'm walking. It's a good time to be on my phone. But now I am also very like, no, look up while you're walking. Cause now so many people steal phones too. Like they could just snatch it out of your hand kind of thing.
That's true.
So it's a good idea to like look up and be aware of your surrounding because if an attacker is going to come at you, it's going to be a lot easier to come if you're like staring down at your phone and you're not paying attention and you're distracted. um I wanted to tell you a story about what happened to Sister Karen last week.
What?
So, of course, this happened in Brampton, guys.
Oh man.
So basically, for those of you who don't know, Sister Karen does hair and makeup, and it's full on wedding season. And as a hair and makeup artist, you have to go to like the house at like 3, 4 a.m. So she was luckily with her cousin. So she just got her cars tinted literally that morning, coincidentally. So she's driving, and there was like a sketchy van, and it's like 3 in the morning, a sketchy van parked on the side of the road, and she kind of saw people run towards it. She didn't think anything of it. She's like, I'm driving. Like, luckily, her doors were all locked, everything. So she drives around the van, and then someone throws an egg at her car, right? So luckily, she did not stop. And luckily, the egg didn't hit the front window. It hit like the back and the side. So they
Thank God.
missed. So, and then they followed her. So imagine, so luckily, she did not stop. She turned into a residential area. She
They were trying
saw
to
them
track
like
her
basic,
car.
yeah. So basically, they're trying to follow her. And then she pulled into like literally some random person's driveway and just turned off her car, all the lights, everything. And luckily her car was just tinted. And she just waited, and then until she found it like clear, and then she left. But I was like, oh my God, that's so fucking scary. And then we were like, basically what they were trying to do is distract the driver, right? So
Yeah.
my brother said what they were probably trying to do though is hit the front windshield,
Yeah.
because what happens is when you use your windshield wiper on eggs, it spreads and it doesn't clean. So then you wouldn't be able to see.
Holy,
So
I have chills.
yeah. So basically, if anybody does hit your car with an egg, don't use windshield wipers. Just let it like stay there and try to look around it. Because as soon as you use windshield wipers, it's going to spread it. And basically, they hit the back. And luckily for her, she didn't stop. Because I think another thing is that if somebody's car gets hit by an egg, your first instinct might be like, oh, let me pull over and see what happened.
Yeah.
So they're waiting for somebody. And this is at 3 a.m. So
This is
obviously, this
human
is a time when they're,
trafficking.
yeah, this is when, they're trying to do sketch shit at night and get away with it. And I'm sure like somebody would like pull over and like maybe check like what happened, and then they rob them. So, like people have new fucking tactics for
Like,
fucking robbing you,
yo,
attacking you, all this stuff. And it's so scary. I
or
was like, oh my
kidnapping
God.
you.
And then the feeling of like they're following you, like, oh
It's
my God.
it's terrifying. Like I've
Yeah.
seen one thing is, I gotta give it to like TikTok and social media because like not in like I to put this out there. No, more people
Hmm.
in Brampton need to know about this because social like the news will never report this. So she
Yes.
has to let other women know, especially in your area, that this is happening. That person is in this area and they might do it to someone else. So
Yeah.
highly
I
recommend,
told her to call it and report it.
but they're not going to do anything. The
Yeah,
police
it's
never
true.
do anything. You guys have to put it on social media. You both have platforms. I would repost. I would even repost her story. It is so important to do that. Honestly, I've seen TikTok show so many like different scenarios of how you can get human trafficked. And
Hmm.
it's fucking terrifying. The egg is one I've heard. I've heard other people say like they throw things or paint onto your windshield so you have to stop, or they like leave something on your windshield so that when you're driving you see it, and then they try to get into your car that way. Like I've heard
Yeah.
so many messed up stories, even like to the point where they put a baby car seat on someone's car and pull over to the side and to stop you from like driving
Yeah.
forward. Like it's
Yeah.
fucked up. It's so fucked up. And it's like people are fucking scary out there. It's really
And
terrifying.
100, that's actually really scary and also really smart about the car seat thing. Because you're
Yo,
like, oh shit, there's a car seat on my car.
yeah, it's like there's a baby. Oh my God. But like no, even people pulled over women with their cars and have a baby car seat out. So that
Oh
you
my.
can only see the back of the car seat, so you think there's a baby in trouble.
Yeah. People are definitely, and unfortunately, guys, like as we're saying as women, is that most of these targets are women. And it's not because we're weak or anything, we're just smaller and we're fragile. So, we're just kind of easier targets. And yeah, like Alicia mentioned, like human trafficking, and just like there's rapists and there's, oh, there's
Rotting.
just I think another thing like women and not men have to worry about is also like when we're intoxicated, getting date raped,
I know.
making sure that like, if somebody is buying us a drink, like that drink is coming from the bartender's hand and not being handed to you. I think, and not all, I've seen a bartender at the club um literally stop a girl from and it wasn't me, it was like a girl beside me getting a drink, and some guy at the club was trying to get her a drink and he was handing her a drink, and she was like literally to this girl, she's like, don't take this drink,
I think
make
we were
sure your drink is
together.
handed to you by the bartender. And like kudos to that girl because she probably sees fucked up shit happening, but a lot of people might not think
This
about
happened in
that.
Niagara Falls. We were together. I remember you telling me this.
Yeah, and I saw it at a club here too at Rebel. So
Oh.
this one was at Rebel well, not last year, like last year now. But and it was just like not all bartenders will like kind of also like make sure they follow those rules kind of thing, because guys buy girls drinks at the club all the time. So, it's totally normal. But, that guy could be slipping something in your drink or like giving you something. Or I saw a video on Instagram about this girl. She looked like she'd been like date raped, but she was really basically like passed out, and these two guys carried her out the bar or club. And basically, the video shows how many people saw this girl and didn't say anything. Like they see that she's fucked up, didn't question it, nothing. Like this guy at the bar is sitting, he didn't stop it. He's like on about his day. And then these two guys go to the car, and it's actually this like homeless girl and homeless woman, and she sees it and she's like, why is she like passed out like that? And then she starts calling out for help, and they're like flipping her cart over. Then more girls come running and they take this girl, and then they call 911 and stuff like that. But it's like there's I feel like only a girl might see a girl and be like, are you good? Like she doesn't look good right now, and like question it,
Yeah,
versus like a guy, if he sees a guy and a girl, he might just think like, oh, that's her girl or whatever. He's not gonna be like, why is your girl so fucked up and stuff like that. Like they're not gonna question it, so it just kind of bypasses,
exactly.
which sucks because they're like stronger, so they might be able to like do something more about it.
Yeah, it's so sad and unfortunate. And I don't know if you've seen this on TikTok, but they came out with those condom sleeves for your cup.
Oh yeah, 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 I love those. I
Yeah, so like
really want one.
they put you put it over your drink. It's like basically like a latex, and you just poke a straw into your
Yeah,
drink so no one else can slip anything into your drink,
yeah,
It's a scary world. Like it's
yeah,
really terrifying, and it scares me even for myself to think about bringing a daughter or a child into this world,
yeah.
because it's like the you know the things you're going to have to teach your daughter. But why are enough mothers not teaching or fathers teaching their sons that
Yeah,
this is wrong?
and I think I hope that that's where the world is moving towards, that like stop trying to tell your daughters to be careful, like start educating your sons to be better, like not even just be better men, but also maybe recognize like when a woman might be in danger and like to step up and help. Um, but it just sucks because I still think that there will be like rapists and kidnappers and sex traffickers and stuff like that. Like, unfortunately, like these fucked up people will continue to exist. So it is fearful. And it's like sad because literally Tim wants to have a son first so he can protect our daughter. Like, that's the sole reason.
See,
And
that's
it's just
crazy.
like, it's just sad that we have to even think of it like that. And I'm like, well, why can't we, she'll learn and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, then we have to have like a kid right away after, because I'm like, even if he's a little brother, he's going to have to make sure he looks over his sister. And I'm like, that's just sad.
That's
Like,
fucked up. That's
yeah,
fucked up. And like
yeah,
100%, I think it's crazy that we have to think that way. And I love that, yeah, we do have to teach our sons to protect, their sisters, their cousin sisters, their girlfriends, their friends like that. But we need to teach them not to be the predator.
yeah,
And I think that's,
100%.
and I'm sure nobody like says, "Oh, my son's going to become a predator." And the ones that do, obviously they're mentally disturbed or something's wrong with them. But
Mhm.
maybe you're not having the conversation, and that's the problem, to know that this is wrong behavior.
Yeah. And I do. And the reason why I say that I do think we will continue to have these fucked up people is because now it's been like proven that you could be born a psychopath. So it's not even something you developed. Like you could literally, you're just born a psychopath and you might not have any control over like have not having those emotions that like your regular brain would have. So that's why like okay, there was this fucked up thing. Like I watched this documentary and it was like this guy in jail and he's like basically a sex predator and sorry, a child like predator. And
Oh,
basically he like he's going through therapy and stuff like that, but he was like my brain like is fucked up. He's like I can't be around kids. Like he's now cuz this is like a person now that he's aware he has a problem, but he still can't be around kids. He's like I can't be around anyone that's a teenager or younger because I can't help the thoughts that I have. Like, you
holy
know,
shit.
so and it's sick, but there are people that are going to continue to be psychopaths and have these problems. I actually also saw this like thing. This was like really weird, but there was like this couple. This is when I went through a phase where I was really into like serial killers. Don't ask
Okay.
why, but I went through a phase where I was like really into serial killers, like their documentaries, and I watched like a whole bunch. And there was this couple, and the guy, he suddenly started to like be into like child pornography kind of thing, like fucked up shit, right?
Oh
And
man.
it turned out that he was having like a tumor growing in his brain that was pushing like some, okay, I don't know. I'm not a scientist and I'm not really good at the terminology, but in like dumb terms, the tumor was pushing against something in his brain that was like not allowing him to think in like some logical way. So he was literally like, there's something wrong with me. Like I'm starting to get like these fucked up thoughts and stuff like that, like about inappropriate things. And basically it turned out he had a tumor and then they removed it and it stopped. And it was like the weirdest thing. So it was like, you know, and like I said, people will continue to have like health issues, mental issues, and like stuff like that, where they're, you know, just born a psychopath and born without any emotional intelligence. So they won't even have control over like feeling pain and stuff like that. So I do still feel like we will continue to have such predators, which is makes it a scary world. But I think if we like as women kind of prepare for it better, and I don't even know if there's any way to fucking really prepare for it. Like how to prepare
There's
for
not.
an event, how to prepare for an attack, how to prepare for kind of any of this.
How the fuck do you do that? How it can
I don't
happen
know.
at any time of the day now. This happened in broad daylight. You told me to start about 3 a.m. This poor girl was attacked at like 11 a.m. in the
Yeah.
morning. It's fucking crazy, you know? It uh, I don't know anymore. I don't even know. It's
Always
so
go for
just
the nuts.
yeah, but I don't even sometimes they might be wearing something to protect themselves there. I'm pretty sure if you're a predator and you've done this a couple times, I wouldn't be surprised if you're already protecting yourself down there because that's the first thing every woman thinks of is the nuts. But
That's
Emma's
so
always
true.
taught me it's the throat. Punch the
Yeah.
throat as hard as you can. Like wherever their Adam's apple is or whatever, the throat. It'll like close their voice box for a second. It'll put them in shock.
Yeah. It's definitely something to think about. I know it's easy to be like, oh, we'll be safe, but
We're
and
not.
us girls do it all the time, right? We'll be like, oh, I'll call you on the way back to my car. I say it all the time. I'll be like, oh, I'll be on the phone with somebody, so I'm not like walking in the dark alone.
But what
But
can the person on the other line of the phone actually do?
exactly, and
You
that's the
know,
scary
I
part.
say that too, but I'm like, but what is that going to do for me?
And like, what if you have the pepper spray and stuff like that, but then you're in a position where you can't get to it?
That's the other problem,
Yeah, that's
you
why I
know?
think we all need to learn how to like fight and kick ass.
100%.
Yeah, at least some stuff, right? So see, maybe we should actually take Amit on those self-defense classes.
I think that, yeah, you know, honestly, I think I am. Like, I'm going to do it. I need to pay
Yeah.
attention to him now.
I'm like a super sketched out person. I wouldn't, you know how like I know friends that would go out for a walk in the dark alone? Like I used to go in the winter because like it's winter and it gets dark at like fucking 5 p.m. But I would only go for walks on the main road
Oh, yeah.
once it gets dark because I don't know, like whatever. And ladies, another thing, like make sure your GPS is always shared with somebody. Like somebody always has your location. So if anything does happen, like, you know, there's
Yeah,
somebody to know like where you were last.
even with Uber and Lyft. and whatever, like they all you can share your ride with someone. When I was traveling for work to Calgary and stuff all the time, I shared my like ride with Amit all the time.
Yeah, definitely. I know. I definitely have my location shared. I always used to like every time I remember I used to go on a first date, I used to be like, this is my location. This is where I'm going. Da 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 da. Because you never know what someone's
Yeah.
gonna be a psychopath.
That's another thing. First dates, like there's so much online dating, and then you're meeting someone for the first time. Have your friend like don't be that silly girl who's like, "Oh, it's okay, I don't need to tell my friends," like whatever. No,
Yeah.
someone should know where you are and let them know when you're home, or let them sit at the table fucking five tables down. I don't care. Like make sure you always meet someone you're meeting for the first time in a very public area.
Yes, yes. Even not even just like a date, but even like when you're okay, like and a lot of people do this. Like as a woman, I've seen other women be really aware of this too. Like when you're buying something off Kijiji or the Facebook Marketplace or whatever the case is, that you're meeting outside somewhere in public.
Yeah, I agree with that
Yeah.
too. You know, my sister-in-law does a lot of marketplace, and what she does is make them meet her in a Tim Hortons parking lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, man, even like clients, I'm just like, I don't know you. Like, I don't know you like that. Like, you could
Yeah.
be a psychopath. And
It's true.
I'm a really sketched out person. Like I do not like to go for walks or anything like in parks. Like I go around my neighborhood,
Yeah.
but like in a park or a trail or something, like even if it's daylight, like I don't think I usually go alone. I'm too
I
sketched out.
do. I'm like kind of tripping in my head because like literally there's like what she was walking through. We have a very similar trail park here, and I do that all the time by
Yeah,
myself. And I'm now like kind of sketched because it's like fuck. I know I do it. I know my aunts when they come home, they also because my grandma lives right there. My aunts also go through that trail by themselves, and I'm just like thinking, oh my god, like
it's
who
scary.
100% it's scary. And I think I'm too trusting. That's my other problem.
Yeah. You know what? Did you ever watch Criminal Minds?
No, my mom did though.
Okay, so this was part of like my phase when I was obsessed with serial killers and stuff like that. Basically, I was watching criminal. This is when we used to watch cable. Like this is pre Netflix time.
Yeah.
So Criminal Minds was on TV like all the time. So I would watch it all the time. And Criminal Minds shows you like the everyday person that could potentially have some sort of problem, right? And I love Criminal Minds because it's not like CSI where they're showing you like fake forensics and they're just like, just like, or like even
It's very
FBI. Like
realistic.
it's not like this one actually shows you like real things that can happen to a person due to trauma, due to mental illness, due to whatever issue that they might have that might cause them to do whatever action they're about to do. So some of these stories are like everyday people who get up, go to work, who, kind of live like the everyday normal life, who you would never suspect to do anything. And then they, go and kill somebody or they rob somebody or they have somebody. Remember that story about the three girls and they were in a basement for like 10 years? Like,
Oh my
10 fucking
god.
years is a long ass fucking time to be kidnapped. Um, and basically, I remember, I think I've been sketched out ever since I started watching that show. So I remember like sitting in a park alone, sorry, not alone, in the dark though. And I remember thinking, like, oh my God, like there could be so many potential sketchy people here right now. Like everyone looks normal. But are they really normal? And we're not telling you to go be sketched out by every person or create paranoia, but it's okay to be a little paranoid.
Yeah, I think we need to be because it's the trusting nature of us that are like, oh, this person's hurt or this person needs help. No. I think take a
Yeah.
moment and rethink that situation before you're in a situation. Don't be naive.
Yeah, 100%. And just be safe. I mean, see what maybe in your car you can keep something on your keychain. Even a whistle on your keychain is actually a really good idea.
I think so too.
Um, yeah, just to like make noise because I think that's what
If you can't yell, then at least you can
yeah,
whistle.
exactly. And there's always running as an option, but sometimes you don't get time to run. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good idea to like learn some self defense moves and, see what you can do to fight back. And some of these moves could be very simple, just takes practice. Um, I think I definitely act like I know self defense, but I don't. So I think I need to like learn a move or two from Amit too.
Yeah. Well, I definitely hope we've brought some awareness to all of you by sharing some stories and what's happening in the media. It's always, the untold truth that no one ever talks about. And now it's something that we should all be aware of. So don't ever be naive and say, no one ever told me, because I've heard a lot of women say that. We can
Yeah.
stand up for ourselves and we can fight for ourselves.
Oh my God, Alicia,
Hmm.
please remind me to tell you about the dick story.
What?
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. I have to tell everybody this. This is like,
Tell
okay.
us.
So, really quick 2 minute side story, and then we're done. So when I was younger, I would say like maybe 19, 20 years old. So this is like when my parents didn't know I was at the club or whatever the case was. Basically didn't know where the fuck I was because I was probably doing something they didn't want me to. So it was after a club. Do you remember lot 332?
Yes.
Okay, so right beside lot was a parking lot, right? So we parked, this is a parking lot, guys, right beside the club. So there's like literally like not that much further that you have to walk. We're right beside the club. So we're walking back to our car, and we see a sketchy person. Like he's kind of like hiding behind the van, and
What the
like a
fuck?
creepy way. Like, you know when someone like peeks behind the van?
Mm-hmm.
So we see that and we're like, what the fuck, right? So we get in the car, we lock the doors, right? We're like, okay, sketch. And then we're like, we're changing our shoes from heels to flats to drive. So like, I'm literally like, so this guy, the creepy dude, comes in front of my car and takes his dick out and starts jerking off.
What?
Yeah, it was honestly, I totally forgot about that even
Yeah.
happened. So sorry, me and my friend are screaming and we're like, oh my God, get out. So my instinct, like honestly, if what I should have done, if I could like go back in time, was like honk. So
Yeah.
that way somebody could like hear like, why is this car honking? And they would have like come and found him. But I freaked out and we went into flight mode. I didn't even look behind me. I put my car in reverse. It's a tiny little fucking parking lot. And we just got the fuck out of there. And we were like, what the fuck just happened? We're like, we can't even, at that age, you're like, I can't even tell my parents. Like, do I call the cops? Like, what do I do? There's no social media. Like, and it was so scary because it was just like we were like, thankfully we were in my car was locked.
What a
um
creepy fucking
it
guy.
was so creepy. Like, just imagine like someone
Like,
just comes in front of
there's
your car
something
and starts doing
honestly
that.
wrong with you to take out your private part in the middle of fucking nowhere. Like, what if you girls had a knife or something? Or what if his
Yo,
dick got
honestly,
stuck in
or
the
I could
door?
have like just gone forward and hit him.
Literally. And that's self-defense, isn't it?
Yeah, honestly, it was so scary and we went into flight mode. I would definitely do it different next time just to like make sure like someone comes and catches him.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, sorry, I had to share that side story because I completely forgot that that even happened to me. But yeah, that was like a really scary moment because we were just so thankful that we saw him being a creep when we were walking through the parking lot, which is why we got in so quickly and locked the doors. But I'm pretty sure he had tried that with like probably 50 other women.
Freaking terrifying. You
I
know,
know, so scary.
it's funny you say that because one thing is, I have to give it to my one girlfriend I used to go out with all the time when we were younger and onwards. She was like a lot more tougher than I was. So
Yeah,
by the end of the night, when we used to get into our own cars, I'll never forget some guy came to my passenger window.
yeah,
And usually we would wait till we were both in each other's cars, but I think she thought I was okay and she drove off. But I got caught off because I put my windows down. And
oh no, never put your window down.
he started like my windows were already down for fresh air.
Yeah,
And then he came to my window. And I forget what he was saying to me, but I went into panic mode. I didn't know what to
yeah.
do. And thank God, I guess she saw it in her rearview mirror or something. She turned around and came back and she's like, "What do you want?" to the guy on the
Oh,
other side. And then like he got scared and like left. And she's
yeah.
like, "You fucking idiot. Put your windows up and let's go." And like literally she was my saving grace so many times I can't even tell you because she was so much tougher. Like you couldn't
Yeah.
fuck with her, you know what I mean? And like she just had that personality, she had resting bitch face. I'm not even joking. But she wasn't scared. I was so easily scared back then. And like, you don't know what to do in that moment.
I know. And that's what it is. It's like sometimes things happen so fast that you don't even know what to think.
Mm-hmm.
And some people freeze, which is probably the worst thing to do.
I know. I know. So we got to just try to do better in those situations, guys.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm done with the side story. So
Okay.
thank you everyone for listening. We'll try to hopefully give you a new perspective of, what we have to do as women. If you're not following us on social media already, you can follow us at Level Up with Raman and Alysha. And yeah, if you have any topics that you want us to talk about or any comments or questions for us, you can email us at ramanandalysha@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening. Stay tough, ladies.
Thanks everyone. Bye.